When working with the brush tool, you have a lot of different options as far as getting variants, especially if you're using a stylus, or for instance, I'm using the Wacom Intuos 5. And don't get me wrong, you can still do this even with some lower versions of Wacom products like the Bamboo. But what I want to show you is how you can get some really beautiful thick and thin lines just using pressure variants. So I'm going to go here and grab my brush tool. I'm going to go to Tool Properties. And when you first look at this window, you have the maximum size and smoothing and all these different things set up here. And this is for the brush that you're currently using. So you can kind of change things just on the fly here, as well as you have presets that are right beneath this. Including some texture brushes, which was new for Toon Boom Animate 3. The brush I tend to start with is around brush 3, and I like it because, again, it has a really nice thick and thin quality to the brush, depending on how much pressure you put on your pen. So if I draw very lightly, got this nice thin line. If I start adding pressure, it gets a little bit thicker. And to even change this, I'm going to go here. I'm going to use a shortcut key, and this is a pretty awesome feature. I'm going to hold down my O key, and if I click and pull out, it's going to make my brush a little bit larger. So if we look at the little preview here, I'm going to do that one more time. I'm going to hold down my O key. So it shows how much larger this is getting. So I'm going to hold on my O and bring this back down to something a little more realistic. So again, I can do some nice thick and thin lines. Okay. I'm going to select all, Command A, and delete these. And I'm going to take this back to normal. So what we can do in addition to this, I'm going to click this arrow in my brush properties here. And I can say, okay, well, what's the maximum size? And then what's the minimum size? I like a lot of variants. I'm going to bring this down pretty low to about 5%. Smoothing, I'm going to leave the same, but this is where we have a little more control. We can change what's happening with the brush shape and see what we get out of this. And there's even an option which just looks pretty interesting. So if we draw something right now, or if we go here, or just drawing some basic little circles, even that has a really nice quality to it. Now, let's say if we found a brush that we really like, let's say if we want to save this particular one, especially because it does some nice little thick and thin lines, we can click right here, and we can call this a brush name of our choice. I'll just call this Tony number 4. Click OK. And now in our menu, I can go ahead and select that. I'm going to do, let's get rid of all these drawings here. We'll do Command A, delete. So I have my new brush. And I can always go back to the brush that I started with, which was brush number 3. And see the difference between that and the brush I just made. So whether you want to use the default or change things on the fly, you may even want to create special brushes for each character, but you have a lot of control and you can save each one of those as a preset.